Hi, this is Brian from Enlightenspeed here. Just giving you a quick tutorial to show the features of our second rack extension here, Note Alter. Now, the basic idea with Note Alter, it's to change the notes, to alter the notes, as the name suggests. And the capability is there to change either the note numbers themselves, which govern pitches, or the velocities of the notes. Now, this will vary and affect the changing of velocities. Just it really depends on each individual instrument that it's connected to. Some patches decrease volume when velocity is low. Some alter filters. Some also don't do a whole lot. The pitches, however, the note range alterations, obviously that can make quite a lot of difference if you're doing something like a round robin trigger, which I'm going to demonstrate here, or also if you're just like trying to play something in key and get extra variation. I'll show some more tricks in the video for chord bank that go into that way of using note alter, basically just to kind of give you lots of pitch changes. But for this one, I'm going to show you the round robin triggering. So first of all, let's have a quick look at the controls. We have the probability control here. In this case, it's not a mode, it's always on with regards to note alter because it works in a slightly different way. We also then have a note range section and a velocity range section. Again, these are the same as they are in Note Filter. We've got a couple of extra controls on there, which we'll talk about a wee bit later though as well. In this device, the probability, as I said, is always on. When the probability is at 100, all events are altered. And this assumes that basically one of the modes is operational. So if the note range is switched on, then everything gets altered. If velocity range is on, everything gets altered. Or if both of them are on, everything gets altered as applicable. And if the probability is at 0, nothing happens. If it's at 50, approximately half gets altered, again, depending on the states of the modes. So fairly simple so far, I hope. We'll have a quick look at this in action in just a second. Just to describe this setup first, what we're doing, we are coming straight in off the matrix here. The matrix, if we just have a quick look, this is plugged into the note and gate inputs of the sequencer input for note alter. This means you could just use it as a way of recording matrix with a wee bit more variation. It gives you that extra possibility when you're using the direct record here, which is something that is pretty much advisable and a standard when messing around with players in the stack. So we have the matrix. This goes into note alter. You then it goes through the either of the alter paths, whether it's note range or velocity range or both, and then it hits this NNXT, which we've got loaded up. The NNXT, all I've done with this is we have filled it up from C1 to C8, which is the maximum that it will allow you to use the automatic chromatic mapping. The automatic chromatic mapping, which you can get just one of the right click functions. If you press this one, then you've got, where is it? Yeah, automap zones chromatically, which does that. So that's all we've done. Basically, just imported a whole load of samples off the FSB and then done that. So nothing else further has been done with it. We are not using this, the alt section. Normally, there's a way that you can get a version of round robin triggering from that in the NNXT, but we're not using that because the note alter version of it is just a wee bit more robust, and it records, or it can, if you want, it can record all the changes using the direct record. So basically just a more modern way of looking at it. And so let's have a quick look at this, and I'll just have a wee jam here. I'm just going to show all of them in one go. It's a fairly simple plugin, so Let's just get a wee listen to what's happening with this. And that's about it. If you just have a wee look there's not really a whole lot going on. All I was doing was vaguely on the end of like 1 bar loops, switching the note range section on and off, switching the velocity range section on and off, using the invert buttons to invert the ranges. These controls, for the most part, they work exactly the same as they do in the note filter. And again, it's then just dependent on the probability. Like I say, the probability governs all of note range and velocity range in this case. And that is it. So what you then have, the extra controls, which we need to have a quick chat about here. The spread controls. It's basically, it comes from when the device was being designed. The question came up, well, what will the affected notes get altered to? How do we alter them? How do we get some sort of control? So this is basically why the spread knobs came in. The controls range from 0 to 1 to 7. What they actually do is they set the maximum distance that the value can go from its starting point. What does that mean? Okay, so well, let's assume if we have a starting value on a note of C3, that's MIDI note number 60. And if the note range spread is set to 1 to 7, then, well, when it comes through, if the probability determines that it's going to be altered, then it will basically go anywhere from 68 minus 127 through to 60 plus 127. So anything in the MIDI range. Suppose if we were to do it with velocities and the input velocity was 100, but the spread was set to 10, well, it's then 100 minus 10 through to 100 plus 10. That's the potential range. So basically anywhere from 90 to 110. So hopefully that's simple enough. It's basically just that it can go either way. Up to the maximum amount. So 70, that still gives you the whole of the MIDI range. If you've got it set to 65 and you've got the range set to 66, again, that gives you the whole MIDI range. So if you're just wanting a slight variation, maybe if you want to do something kind of a wee bit more gentle with the velocities or something like that, well, you would say turn that down to say about 15 to 20. That'll give you a fairly smooth progression on the velocities. If you turn it right up high, then you can get far more kind of glitchy effects, which is just that's obviously the more interesting thing for a lot of other people. So that is it. It's a very simple device. There is not a whole lot of learning to it, but it does give you quite a lot of power on there. Particularly if you're using something like the Matrix, or if you're trying to breathe a bit of life into older song files. I mean, I myself, I've got about 2,000 odd song files which are infested with matrix units. And instead of wanting to do kind of like small progressions via the pattern bank, well, using Note Alter gets it done a lot quicker and it's a lot more fun to do. And that's it, really. It's just a good way of getting control of that. Gives you a better version of round robin, and like I say, it also allows you to do a very particular trick, which is available if you're either using scales and chords, or if you are using chord bank, the third of the Enlightenspeed plugins. I'll give a bit more detail on that during the chord bank tutorial, because it really kind of helps to highlight one of the features of chord bank. But that's us. That's Note Alter, and thanks for turning up and having a look at it. We'll post up a tips and tricks video after the chord bank one, and this will be using all of Enlightenspeed's Loop Cracker Suite rack extensions in unison. We'll also be showing some of them in conjunction with the original propeller head player devices. But that is really us for now. So we'll stick some new vids up for you very, very soon, and we'll hope to see you all later. Thanks for checking out our rack extensions. Take care. Bye bye.